Sir, how are you?
I'm good, man. You know, Wednesday, pretty shitty day of the week. Can I curse on this?
You can definitely curse. Okay. I mean, I feel like I'm the one who should be asking you what we can and can't do. I feel like we're playing on your turf here.
Yeah, home field advantage right now. You know, I'm loose with the rules. I play fast and dangerous, so it's only a matter of time before Twitch bans me.
I don't know, man. I feel like you've been going along for a good clip here. I think you've got some credit with them at this point.
I do. Don't tell the public that, though. They'll be like, preferential treatment, and they're right. I'd better get a little preferential treatment, you know? Like just a smidge.
Saying, man. Seniority counts for something.
Right.
Okay, well, this is actually the first question I wanted to ask you, and you segued to it perfectly, so we're off to a great start. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hilarious has it been for you to watch every single DJ immediately scramble to become a streamer during the pandemic?
Yeah, equally as funny as watching the exodus of everyone leave now that they're like, oh, wait, the thing I actually want to do is back. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, to your credit and some other people's credits, a lot of people... a lot of DJs have seen the value in streaming, not just for whatever music stuff they do, but also just as a way to connect with fans. So like there are some that will stick around, but yeah, most of the texts I was getting at the start of the pandemic were very, you know, if you're my friend and you know, my friends know who they are, like, of course I love fielding your questions, but you know, I have people like DM me and they're like, hey man, how do you stream? And I'm like, broad question. How do you make music? Like, what's the deal there?
Well, right. Yeah. I feel like people hitting you for tech advice on Twitch is kind of similar to like somebody hitting a DJ for guest list. You know?
Well, I mean, no, I'd say it's more like me just reaching out and be like, hey man, so I just have to know, like, what exactly is your DAW settings? Like how wet is the sausage fattener or whatever? Right. I don't make music, so that made no sense.
No, yeah. You're like, yeah, can you tell me, I see this compression. Can you explain that? Yeah.
Yes, exactly that. And I'm like, or the people, I'm like, you guys don't have a studio mic? You're a musician. You don't have one studio microphone you can use. It's like, nope. Okay. I mean, it's what you want to get out of it. You know, Kenny Beats is crushing it right now on Twitch, and you know, Eliminate's doing a great job. My boy Vincent, like, there's a ton of people that are actually doing it consistently. And then, you know, if you just want to get on and have some fun every now and then, that's cool too. That's still streaming.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? Is whatever makes it fun for you. It doesn't always have to be a job necessarily. So this is a question I preach on this podcast all the time, that I think DJs need hobbies. I think creatives in general need hobbies that are outside of what they do.
Right.
Like, how about for you? Because you know, you seem like you're having fun, but at the same time, this is your work. This is what you do for your job. How do you get that kind of work-life balance and keep what you do fun?
I like to laugh and I agree with you, every creative needs a hobby, because I'm assuming I can speak for the majority of creatives that you start doing something because you love it, and then it accidentally becomes your job. And at that point, you're still in love with it, but it's now your job. And it doesn't mean you don't like your job. It doesn't mean you don't like that thing as much. It's just, it changes how it's supposed to operate. And nobody can fix that. Like, that's just humans, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I joke with a lot of DJs, the grass is always greener. Like, I stream 6 hours a day, basically every single day without a break.
Man.
For the last 7 years, right? And then
7 days a week?
Yeah.
Wow.
I took 12 days off last year, and that includes like holidays and sick days, and you know,
man, that's like not quick side note on that. You know, in DJ world, it's, you know, you talk about people like Diplo or Steve Aoki, the people who are traveling every single day playing, you know, whatever, 300 some shows a year, as like, wow, you know, they're really...
But that is gross, but...
Oh, sure, it's gross, but to hear you talk 7 days a week, 6 hours a day, I mean, come on,
The time commitment is crazy. It's a full-time job. I stream over a full-time job's amount every month.
full-time jobs.
Yeah. I mean, well, no, 160 hours a month, right? So technically 8 hours a day with weekends. I just burn out. Like, you know, if you do anything for 6 hours a day, you're gonna get tired of it. And it's important to relax. Thankfully, I live in the beautiful city of Los Angeles. And so we have an infinite amount of things to keep busy. So I always, you know, I go to a bunch of shows. It's how I got into music. It's how I got into the music industry. I was at Space Yacht last night because we had some Hellbound and Revel played. We've released with them.
Yeah, shout out to Hellbound and Revel, man. Love those guys.
They're fun. Yeah. I mean, that's my fun place, right? I let loose and I have my fun at night with my friends. I go out to dinner, I do all that stuff, and then it's back into work mode in the morning.
Sure,
you know?
Sure. Although, again, I mean, maybe we'll talk more about night mode a little later, but again, I feel like you've done it again, man. You took something you liked for fun, and now you've made it work.
I know. Listen, my therapist loves this because she's like, what's next? What are you going to ruin that you love next? And I was like, I don't know if I love anything. I don't have the capacity to love much more than I currently love music and gaming. But like, at least with music, it can't quite be my job just yet because like we don't make money from it. So it's like it's still like a fun project. But you're right, we're on the path.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good, man. Of course, like, have you always been that kind of person where if you have an interest in it, you really need to like get inside that interest? You know what I mean?
No. This is all accidental. Like I firmly believe. Obviously, I have a desire to do well by my hobbies and the things that I like to invest myself in them. But you know, I picked up guitar for 2 months when I was growing up. That didn't work out. Even though I really wanted to learn, it didn't work out. I mean, there's a lot of things I've picked up and not had interest in. It just so happens that, I mean, for me, the YouTube and the Twitch side of things was giving me a lot of, I guess, feedback that I didn't get in real life, especially when I first started. So like, that was a very positive thing for me, and it made me want to do more of it. So it's kind of like you get rewarded for it. A lot of serotonin. Why not keep doing it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think this is another thing I talk about on this podcast all the time. I think we all are addicted to this in some way or another, right? And it's more about sort of how do you channel the addiction into healthy and productive things versus because it's still going to be there regardless.
Yeah. I think whatever is healthy depends on the person because, you know, you have some of my colleagues, I mean, friends even that have streamed like 350 hours in 1 month. So that is like 10 hours, that is over 10 hours a day, every day, you know, and they're like, cause I like it. And I'm like, I like a lot of things, but not like that's, you're addicted, but like, that's fine for them. And they're comfortable with it. So like, that's healthy, not healthy for me. Could not do that. So everybody's different.
No, absolutely, man. Well, it makes me wonder, you know, you were talking about how early on you got that feedback. It was a positive experience. Mm-hmm. Am I right that you're from Baltimore originally?
Yes, Baltimore. Very happy and proud of my home city. But I grew up north of Baltimore in a place called Towson.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm in DC right now, so I'm not far from the stomping grounds. And, you know, when you were growing up, I'm always curious, like, where these things come from. I mean, let's break it all the way down. Like, what did your parents do, and what kind of stuff was around you as a kid?
Right.
Like, were they playing music in the home? Was there like tech stuff in the home? Like, where did these interests start?
I didn't have a game console until I got the PlayStation 2 when I was, I believe, 12 or 11, right? And so I had a Game Boy, but, you know, and I had a PC. My mom did a little bit of IT work, but not a lot. It wasn't her main thing. I was the one that was seeking out music. I used to when I discovered LimeWire, it became my whole thing of burning people's CDs.
Yeah.
So I had a passion for a wide variety of music, a lot of metal, a lot of rock, but then also complete opposite end of the spectrum, like Gabber. I don't know how that happened, but
LimeWire probably, right?
Yeah, no, actually LimeWire. I was like, Anger Fist 2020 or like 2003 set live. I'm like, what's this? Because I'm like, okay, I'll mow the lawn to this. It's like,
because you're like, oh, Anger Fist. That sounds like a metal band,
right? Yeah, and in a lot of ways it was, but no, my dad wasn't tech savvy. They never played video games. There was no like outside influence. Really, what happened was once I found out that there was a way, you know, through RuneScape or whatever, where I was connecting to people and with people on message boards or online in a way that I was not able to or wasn't getting from, school or whatever. Had friends, but none like I would get on and I'd be like, oh, my friend's online. Like, here we go.
Yeah.
So that's really what kind of kindled it, because I was like, oh, the social aspect of this is so important to me because I can't really get it, or I'm not getting it elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, so those kind of interests that you had, whether it's, gaming or metal or whatever it was early on, were you kind of the odd one out in your social sphere at the time?
I didn't tell people played video games. You got to understand that video games have really only become a cool thing in the last 5 years. And I would even argue like 7 years ago, people still laughed at me when I was like, I play video games. I still can't put in my bio for Tinder, like gamer, right? That's still not cool. Decidedly uncool. But,
decidedly, yeah.
But I mean, like Drake played with Ninja. Catalyst for a lot of normie people to be like, what the hell? I didn't know that. And you heard. Yeah, and you heard about people playing Call of Duty, right? The sports players, whatever. So there was an idea of that in the past, but no, I did not tell anyone that I had a YouTube channel until I had 40,000 subscribers and we were graduating, and I was like, and bye. I don't know how you're gonna take this. I'm out of here. But yeah, I hit it.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense, man. I mean, what about it? Was YouTube the first thing where you really created content, quote unquote?
Yes. I had a kid who I met who lived in Los Angeles called Skittle over Xbox Live. And I was I was ranting about how stupid one of the guns was in Call of Duty World at War. And he was like, man, that's kind of funny. You should record that and put it on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I will. So I made a YouTube video called Thoughts of the Week. And I was just complaining about some Call of Duty stuff in my bedroom with an old MacBook that was broken. Like it would spark when you turned it on type beat. It was,
right.
And I was like, oh, I like this. I got 50 views in 3 weeks. And I was like, oh my God, that's
doing numbers.
In my head, I was like, that's half my class size. That's so sick. What if half my class paid attention to something I did? Yeah. So, and obviously that grew pretty quickly. YouTube was the first thing that I did. And when I got a lot of outside pressure from my online friends to do more, which spurred me to do more things. And I got feedback from strangers and, started to get this traction. So that was 12 years ago now. My first video was uploaded August in 2009.
And did it take off pretty quickly for you?
No.
I
mean, all things considered, I think people can look at it either way, right? There are YouTubers that have grown 5 million subs in their first year. That's dope. But that level of attention was not on YouTube or creators for a very long time. The most subscribed channel when I started in gaming was 20,000 subs. And It was machinima, right? And so when I had 5,000 subs about 9 months after the fact, or maybe a little less than that, maybe, half a year, whatever, to me, that was just absurd, a meteoric rise, because there just wasn't enough. The pool was small. The pool is infinite now. I mean, there are so many people on YouTube. It's kids grow up now wanting to be YouTubers. That's so fucked up. Stop that. We gotta stop this. I didn't choose this. I don't want it, but I do. But come on, kids.
Yeah, you don't. That is really a depressing thought to think somebody grows up and now aspires to do that.
Maybe not YouTuber. Let me backtrack. It's cool to be a YouTuber. That's just creating content. Influencer is what I meant. Yes. People don't I want to be Instagram famous. I'm that's not. I mean, it is a job, but really? That's it? That's the one? All right, cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's funny. When you were growing up, what did you think was going to happen? Because obviously you didn't have influencers to look at to see oh, this is what a successful version of this looks like.
I mean, what is even now, what does it look like when I retire? Is there a retirement? Do I do this forever?
Yeah.
I'm still enjoying it. There is no set path, because it's kind of hi, we're making it right now. So when I started, even years after I had started, I remember when I was in college. So 2 years later, my grandpa asked me how long I'd do it for. And I was like, I don't know, maybe another couple of years I could see myself doing it. But then school takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
I dropped out, things changed a lot in that 6 months, but still, I was a thought. Where do you go from here? I don't know, but I think I just want to do more of it. And that was the catalyst for me moving to LA. I just wanted to do more of it. It was fun. It was making me happy. I was getting paid, sort of.
Well, and I mean, if you're able to still feel that way now, I think that's great. I think maybe that's the way you keep it fun for yourself, right? Is sure, it's big time now and everybody's on it and we've got politicians on Twitch and, right. all this kind of crazy shit. But if you're still, maybe that's why this format is so intriguing in the first place, right? Is all these, like, now it's mainstream. It's celebrities, politicians, musicians, everybody. But like you said, there's no one knows where it's going yet, right? Like it's
exciting. Wild West, right?
Very it is truly fucking Wild West.
I used to joke with my friend who still does YouTube and stuff. Not to the same level, but still does it, right? And I used to say, like, hey, man, like what we're doing right now and the things that we're doing, we're kind of like Babe Ruth or like one of the earlier ones where it's like people will look back and be like, that was super dope, like really good. They laid the groundwork. Babe Ruth made like 50 grand, right? Yeah. He like Manny Machado or not, whoever, like Fernando Tatis is making $320 million, right? Very different. They both did the same thing. They're both very good at what they do, right. But like the difference here is this is just mainstream and a lot more money. So
I mean, I think just in culture in general, the originators never really get their due, right?
Which is why I'm clawing at them. Like, just keep me around for like 5 more years, and then I'll promise to leave you alone. I'll disappear to music. You won't hear me again until you're at my shows.
Me.
Like,
I'm the originator.
Yeah, but I mean, it definitely, it's an interesting Wild West that's exciting to be in for everyone, no matter how big or small.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just me being ignorant, but who's like, before you, who's like the original pioneer of this shit?
I mean, it would be super dumb of me to say that I am in like even the originator class, because while I did stream before Twitch was even Twitch TV, or Justin TV for that matter, and I was on Ustream, like really you got to look towards people who are like pillars of the community. I mean, like Dan's Game or Summit. I mean, they're like Soda Poppin'. These are people that have been streaming equally as long, if not longer, but have had a vastly more impactful like career span and culturally, you know, they're like the Zeds or the Diplos of live streaming. They do whatever they fucking want, and people will still love them. So it's great. Like they are the ones that have kind of kept the platform from its roots to now.
So it's such a new world to me that I'm learning all of this backwards, which is kind of fun. Like I get to, like we were saying earlier, I get to just be a fan for a second, right? And just get to like learn about all this new shit. I'm having a blast doing it. I mean, for you, like when you started doing these YouTube videos back in the day and you're a kid and you get 50 views and that feels amazing.
Right.
How did that evolve? Like you said, you went to college, dropped out of college, but you were doing videos the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Like, were you seeing growth with it, or was it still just something you were doing because it was fun?
I mean, yeah, I was seeing growth, right? But it was so hard. And when I got my first paycheck, it was like $3.40, right? I showed my mom, and my mom kind of laughed at it, obviously, right? I was like, but hey, I was stoked. Money was earned from doing this. So my mom argued with my dad to let me not take a summer job, but instead focus on making YouTube videos, which then led me to getting a partnership with Machinima, which at the time was pretty big, getting paid through there. And then I did see growth, but like, let's not be crazy here. When I made the decision to leave college in December, I was terrified. My parents are so traditional. I was like, oh my God. My dad was like, if you're going to fuck up your life, now's a great time to do it because you got no responsibilities. And I was like, that's a yes? Okay.
That's good advice. Smart. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I decided to leave, the reasoning was I was moving into a house in Santa Monica with 3 of my closest friends. We were all going to split the exorbitant rent. I got a loan from my aunt. Like it was a whole thing. I think I was making like 20 grand that year. Yeah. We were on ramen and dollar menu for like 2.5 solid years before like we got into like the more comfortable lifestyle. But
that makes sense. So you moved with all these friends. Were they all over the country too?
Yeah. So one was from Portland, Oregon, Vancouver, Washington. One was from Champaign, Illinois. Over time, my friend from the UK went and moved in with us. At one time, there were 6 people living in a 3-bedroom house.
Nice.
Right. So
I love it.
And it was like an old shitty place, but like a friend from Montana moved in. So like, yeah, all over the place. It was funny enough. It was one of the first content houses, if not the first content houses that, people have now gravitated to making, but it was kind of like an Airbnb for any content creator. That couch was always filled with somebody from wherever because nobody wants to pay for a hotel room.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to think about. So you must have been part of a wave then of all these people trying to do, trying to make it like as this sort of this platform, this art form, whatever you want to call it, is evolving. it sounds like all at the same time, there are a bunch of people realizing, oh, this could be a movement, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always obvious to you when you're involved with the movement because, of course, like you believe in it. That's the whole point.
Right.
So around me, it seemed as if, I mean, this was an obvious thing that was happening, and the growth was exponential. You had companies like Machinima doing deals with Verizon for millions of dollars, and the corporate side was getting, noticed. So when we started doing work with Activision for Call of Duty directly, and I was going into the studios, that's when I was like, we're in it, baby. Like, it's happening. And then Disney buys like a YouTube MCN for $500 million. And at that point, all gloves were off, and it's just been a rat race since.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's wild to see, like on the ground level, just streamers, you and your peers, like that's a whole hustle in itself. But then on the corporate level, that's like a fucking Avengers Civil War,
Oh man, I gotta tell you, I pride myself in being really good with brands, with the exception of maybe one or two, which we'll save for a never story. But I mean, like the fun part is working with these companies because, look, like nobody's gonna pay me any more money than like a Samsung, right? To promote their phone. Like their budgets for whatever I'm doing nobody even reads my line on the expense sheet because they're paying $40 million for a Super Bowl ad. So it's kind of like, it's fun to be in here because you just get to mess around and people are like, oh, we'll try it. And then if it works, great. And if it doesn't, like, I'm happy. They're like, whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly, man. Yeah, that kind of no pressure, big resource thing is, I've been in that situation a few times as a DJ, and man, it's the most fun shit ever.
Very stressful, but it's fun when it works.
Yeah. So you just made me think about like weird DJ gigs I've done where it didn't really fit. What's the oddest brand thing you've done or the oddest like event you've... I'm looking at my chat to see if they have any, but I had one famous example was when I got to the front page of Reddit so many times, right? But like, it was called the Totino's Bucking Couch Bowl. And it was during the Super Bowl, right? So during the Super Bowl, or at least like the start before the Super Bowl aired, me and my friends like Tim the Tatman and Gold Glove and some other people, they put a couch on a mechanical bull, like a full couch with one strap. And the goal was to let Twitch chat control the mechanical bull couch while I'm playing video games. And we each had to take turns. And if there's one thing you cannot do, it is to give Twitch chat any control because, I didn't sign a waiver or anything, right? Let's just get on here. They're just trying to murder you, yeah.
All right, so they spun it around and like it kept going and going and going. And it flung me off. And I flung off upside down and almost cleared the foam barrier. So it's like 5 feet off the ground initially, and then I'm in the air. I would have landed on my neck, broke my neck live on stream. It would have been miserable.
Oh my God.
Funny at the time, but like, yeah, not great. It was.
That is truly some Wild West shit. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, that's like, you can't let the internet control anything, right? That's like, I always laugh when you see a brand be like, help us pick the new name for our new product. It's every single, you already know what it's going to be.
You should have learned when Mountain Dew tried to do that and 4chan hollered at them and it was like gushing granny flavor for the Granny Smith apple. And you're just like,
it's so good, man. Yeah. I love all of that. Well, so how was there a moment as you kind of saw this building and you're broke and you're living off ramen and all that, was there something that changed it for you, or was it kind of a gradual thing? Yeah. I mean, well, that.
I mean, really what happened was there's been a lot of times in my career, and I'm sure every single DJ or every single producer's career, where you have breakthroughs that may help you in some way. I mean, there are so many different moments I can point to that I'd say, like, without that, I wouldn't have gotten to the next tier. And there are far more of those at the start of my career than there are at the end, because at a certain point, like, those breaks aren't as incredibly large, right? Yeah. So I would say, like, I probably attribute most of my early or middle growth towards Minecraft. I started a series with a couple friends of mine, well, one friend of mine, and we slowly added people from all around. And it was like a semi-scripted thing that was arguably the largest I have ever seen my chat. I had like 20,000 viewers a day and 48,000 peak. And you're like, I got a stadium here watching me play Minecraft. Like, okay, cool. So that helped with popularity a lot. And then, that we stopped doing that, separated myself from that. Over the years, things dwindled. And then again, I found myself playing some weird game called Doki Doki Literature Club. Fire game. Just came out on the Switch. Maybe you guys check it out. It's a Japanese dating sim game, which
I know
which
this. Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything in case somebody's influenced, but I loved it. Played that and realized, man, I should stop playing only shooters. Like I should play some other games. This was fun. So I'd opened up to a bunch of different games and that helped as well. So I don't think that there's any one thing that helped more than the other because I still value getting a shout out from this dude named PSN Cool Beat PJ that got me 500 subs in one day when I only had 1,000. That's nuts. You almost double, 50% growth in a day. Wow.
Yeah, no, that absolutely, man. I mean, I while you're talking, I'm thinking about all these parallels to the music career that I've known, and it's really crazy to me, man. There's between DJs and producers and gamers and streamers, there's all these parallels that I'm sure you've seen too.
Oh, 100%. The music industry and gaming industry are so intertwined. Like it's so easy to relate to you guys for pretty much anything at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how did love of electronic music enter your life? Post LimeWire.
Yeah, I mean, so I was listening to electronic music during LimeWire stuff, and then I got really into mashup music, girl talk. Still love girl talk, but like Milkman, all this stuff. I even tried my hand at making mashup tunes and handed out CDs. My MySpace. I went under the name DJ Erect, which is great because my last name's Boner. So I thought that high school me was like, yup, this is the one.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Nailed it. But I'm not musically trained. I don't know how to make music. So after I tried to make Happy Hardcore on Fruity Loop 6, I was like, I think this is it for me.
Happy Hardcore was my first. That was the first piece of vinyl I ever bought was Happy Hardcore.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So two birds of a stone, or feather, whatever the phrase is. 2 birds of a
stone.
Yeah, I have birds dying, two birds.
Two dead birds. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 dead birds of a stone. Yeah, I really gravitated. I liked metal music a ton and grew up listening to Children of Bodom and Opeth and Devil Driver and whatever. So I saw a lot of similarities in dubstep and like hardstyle too. And so I remember YouTube montages for Call of Duty used a lot of drum and bass, a lot of Chase and Status and or Cameo and Crooked. So it's like it was so easy to get hit from all these different cultures, international wise. I'm talking to European guys who I never would talk to outside of talking with them about content. And they're sending me drum and bass stuff. And I'm like, oh, I've never heard this. So it was really natural to be attached to how diverse electronic music was when I'm so used to listening to such a niche subset of rock.
And I mean, it's crazy on this podcast, like how many DJs I talk to who have that metal background or those interests. I mean, I was too. The first band I ever had was a metal band. Did you ever consider going down that route at all? Like, I feel like because I mean, there's definitely DJs who stream. Did you ever consider being a streamer who DJs?
I do. I have decks, right? Like I can, and I do sometimes throw a little like private. I have an alt stream account that I'll pop on like once a month and I'll mix and, we'll go all over the place. But that's for me, right? I don't I've never performed. Well, that's not true. I did some stuff with Brownies and Lemonade, but like, I'm not a DJ. While I can DJ, you put me on a different pair of decks and I'm like, I don't know where any of these buttons are supposed to be and I can't do it. Like I need my home DJ set. So sure, at some point, I think it would be fun. But that's not why I do it. I do it because it's fun to DJ for my friends. It's fun to have that. I want to just share the music that I listen to with people. And it's so nice when you get a good mix and, you got like 20 minutes of perfect mixing and you're like, come on, like, is this not incredible? That feeling that I know you guys feel every time on stage is so infectious.
Yeah, it really is the best, man. And there's something you said earlier that struck a chord with me too, which is that you've had this music that you wanted to share with other people. And the same things, putting out your videos, you wanted to share these ideas. Like, I feel like there's a certain aspect of curation that is in your brain. You know what I mean?
Well, you nailed it, because even, like I said, burning CDs for friends off LimeWire in like 5th grade I'd just be like, what kind of music you like? Hey, let me show you this stuff, right? I love being a tastemaker. I love showing new restaurants and finding it. Like, gives me a lot of serotonin to have somebody enjoy something I've chosen. And so what better way to do that than making playlists on, SoundCloud or Spotify, which I was doing far before doing anything in the music sphere. And I think that if anything, you nailed it. Like there is a level of curation that I feel not obligated, but enticed to do in anything that I enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I think, maybe we'll hop on and off of this subject, but, that's a good way to talk about Night Mode because, that's you and your partner in the label curating an entire roster of acts, right? And actually picking things that are going to be public to the world. Like, how do you go about, because I think for the podcast, we got a lot of people listening who are aspiring artists, up and coming artists. And that's always the question, right? Of like, how do you approach a label? How do I get my stuff signed? How do I link up with other entities? What is it for you? Is there anything in particular you look for?
Yeah. All right. So I do demo review streams just like every single artist or musician on, the point is there's, we get 100 demos every 2 weeks or something like that. And I love listening to them, but it's great to also listen to demos anonymously and see what initial reaction are. It's kind of like testing out a new tune in the crowd. If you are an aspiring artist, like this is going to sound so dumb. Just make good music, man. Like, why is that so hard? Just make the best music you could possibly make right now.
Have you considered not making bad music?
Yeah, I've listened to some songs and they're bad. You just need to make them gooder. No, in a non-condescending way, if you're submitting music, all it needs to be is the literal best product you can put out at that moment. And if it's not good enough for me, I'm not going to go and tell you like, damn, you can't believe you sent this. I've had some awful demos. Like the first song this person has ever made, Clearly. I don't say this sucks. I don't respond at all. It's part of the process of growing as an artist. And every creative, I assume, can do the same thing I do. Look back 3 years ago and I'm like, that all is trash. What in the hell did I do? And why is that still public, right?
Do you look at old videos you've made it the same way?
So awful, man. I have to keep some up because they're just classics, but I have everything privated from 5 years and older, and we're getting to that time. I got to start. Like, it's just my audio's bad, the lighting's bad, I'm bad. It's the blunder years. Imagine somebody gets to pull up. People are like, yo, why'd you private all your videos? Go back and look at your Facebook posts from when you were 16, 17. Okay. I have that in video form every day. So that's terrifying amounts of cringy. I don't want that. Nobody needs that. We're keeping it locked.
Yeah. That's probably for the best, man. I mean, that's so crazy to think about. You have a whole documentary's worth of you growing up on camera, man.
So valuable. And you can download all the videos. And I've uploaded over, 2,700 videos to 2,700 videos on YouTube. And that is something that, YouTube's not going anywhere. I will absolutely be downloading all of those and just having them just in case, what if I ever have kids, be like, I wonder what dad was like when he was 20. Well, here you go. Here's dad jumping into the snow on camera. You got it. So I think it's just very valuable.
I love that, man. It makes me wonder too, putting yourself out there that much, being in front of the camera so much, what do you keep to yourself? How do you keep your life actually your life? You know,
very, very poignantly timed question here. I'm a person. And I'm a public person.
Wait, hold on. You're a person? Can we?
I know. Lizard person, but still person in my eyes. Thanks.
Sense, yeah.
And so while I am open and, I'll let people know hey, I tweet hey, it's a rough week, guys, right? That's all you need to know. I mean, if I want to open up any more details with you, then I will. But I have a private life that I'm entitled to. And if I'm dating somebody, obviously everybody knows if I'm, if I have good food, I'm going to let people know. But if I have a gastrointestinal disease, you don't need to know that. Right. I don't need to share that with you. So I'm I have a personal life, but it's not secretive. What you see is what you get. You can't hide things very well when you're doing them, when you're live 6 hours a day. Yeah. Right. That's not.
Well, even just you saying a second ago, if I'm dating someone, obviously everybody knows. That's not obvious for everybody, That's,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's I'm just saying that in putting yourself out there that much, it's a lifestyle choice.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, either way, I think that I wish a lot that I was capable of having more privacy, but I mean, people know where I live. I've been here 5 months. My address is out there.
Yeah.
That's just I don't want to say that's the nature of things, but it is the nature of things. It shouldn't be this way, but it is.
Right.
There's a lot of it overreaching and invasiveness, because when somebody spends 6 hours a day watching you, there is that one-sided relationship where like that, you know, there's this parasocial relationship that can develop, which is never really healthy.
Have you gotten, I mean, because you have a level of celebrity, especially in Los Angeles. Like, have you gotten weird celebrity stuff? It's like stalkers, people coming to your house, that kind of thing?
Not since I lived in Santa Monica. We had a younger girl digging through our recycling, and her mom drove her there. And I was like, what are you doing? So I yelled at her mom. It was so weird. I was like, I guess she was trying to make sure we lived there. Yelled at her mom. I was like, that's awful. But for the most part, everybody's respectful. I've cultivated a very nice group of people that I like to interact with. So I run into viewers like all the time at music shows, but that's, you know, the easiest place to find me. They know I'm there. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good natural place to do it.
Right.
And you were saying you were out last night, right? Was that one of your first nights out in a while? I feel like everybody's just starting to get back out there.
That was my first space yacht of the season. I went the day California opened up. Brownies and Lemonade had a show, and I went. And then that weekend, I went to Exchange for Wax Motif. And then the next weekend, I did nothing. And then this past weekend, I went to 4 a.m. Warehouse for Sarah Landry, which was just sweaty, gross, and ideal.
Nice. And, that's beautiful. So you've been out there.
Yeah, I'm right back in I'm on my bullshit again.
Yeah.
Once again, I am back on my bullshit.
They said it would never happen, but I'm back.
They said it couldn't be done. Nobody said that. They were all expecting it.
Yeah, they were very much expecting it. How is it different for you now going out as a label owner? Like, are you starting to think about the music business differently now that you have the label? Because you started it kind of shortly before the pandemic, right? So I have to imagine there's a lot of ideas you haven't executed on yet.
Yeah. So we're coming up on, wow, you're right. Man, when you phrase it like that, that really messes me up, because I was like, no, dude, we started it 2 years ago. And then I was like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Wow, that was uncomfortable. So look, I think the only thing that's changed is I do try to carry myself a little bit more professionally. Like, my number one goal here, I love meeting people, and I love the music that I love. And if I can get and meet the artists that are making that in whatever way, that's great. But it's never my first, second, or third conversation that I'm like, yo, you should send me demos or something. Like, that's not appropriate or the way that I like to do it. I just want to get to know cool people. And for better or for worse, people do know that I run the label. So that comes up naturally, and, you know, then we'll talk about it. But no, I'm still a fan of the music. I still only go to the shows I want to go to. It's that first, business second, always.
Well, and the label, I think, has already established such a good track record, working with, a ton of friends of mine and a ton of artists I love. Like, when you started the label, because I'm getting tossed around here, but we didn't even really talk about the idea of starting it yet.
Oh, yeah, which is pretty important.
Yeah, ostensibly, that's a thing people might want to know. I mean, when you look at that and you look at the idea of starting the label, like, what do you think Night Mode does differently that other labels aren't doing? Like, how are you thinking about this differently?
I mean, it's like literally the most obvious difference here. And we started the label explicitly because we wanted to make DMCA free music for content creators to be able to use. But look, there are non-copyright DMCA free music channels, whatever, out there. However, no one wakes up in the morning and says, oh boy, new DMCA free tune song. I can't wait to go listen to this one. Right? That's background music, and it has its time and place. But I want to release good music that people want to listen to for no other reason than it's good. I just want the option to be there for anyone that wants to use it, because I grew up as a content creator, and I know the value of having something like that. Even if you're not using it in the background of your YouTube videos as you would normally for a background track, you listen to it, you enjoy it. Like, that's all that I care about. Use it as your outro song, whatever.
Yeah.
So the number one priority here, and we've had to say no to so many artists because there were issues with like publishing and whatnot, like huge artists that I would love and to sign. Like, we have to protect the content creator. So DMCA free for every track as best we can manage. the music's legal system is such a joke.
Oh my
it's so
God,
convoluted.
dude. Yeah.
And even now, I'm like, I still don't even. I'm pretty sure we're good, right? Like,
Well,
I mean, we are, but
all the
you know,
time,
we have
right?
we have lawyers on it.
Yeah.
But it's such a simple thing that we're doing. It's free. Anyone can use it. No licensing required. And I attribute a lot of the success of the label to that and people who use it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, there's we already talked about, you know, all these links between gaming and music. Do you, like, personally, I remember games I played early on, like, you know, people always talk about Tony Hawk and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain games where the music was such an important part of it. And I actually discovered so much music as a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, Need for Speed Underground, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, Get Low. First time I heard it was, you know, was Underground 2, was drag racing, and me and my friend were so in love with it. We missed the title, so we waited like 35 minutes for the soundtrack to loop so we could write it down and go download it on LimeWire.
Oh, that's
I was
amazing.
like, you know, I agree with you. Racing games. How pivotal is a good racing game soundtrack? How pivotal is FIFA's soundtrack, menu music?
Yeah.
It's all part of the experience. And even in game, when you have a cinematic, whatever it is, music and gaming are inseparable. So it sucks to know that, especially now with the wave of DMCA takedowns from major labels, which all of these companies are licensing for, but you don't get the same permission to stream it. I have to turn music off. You know how weird it is to watch a cutscene and it's silent except for like character sounds? They're in a club. People are like this.
It's just
and you're
silent.
like, yeah. In my head, I'm like, but it's so stupid, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know, man. The labels, it's an archaic system. I could go on and on about this, but it's so funny to me because I talk to somebody like you and, you know, just from our own personal experiences, we can see how important and how impactful music in gaming is, whether you're playing a game, whether you're streaming, all of that. And to me, it's so obvious that labels would see such a huge benefit if they just turned on the faucet and were like, yeah, use whatever you want. To me, it seems so obvious there would be a huge benefit there. But then
double-edged sword. Yeah, because if they do that, then people are going to listen to all their favorite music and not just mine. But you're right. Like it's I've been lobbying for forever about this, and it's just such a, I mean, this is kind of a tangent, but Monster Cat's 10-year anniversary was recently. Yeah. And I've known Darlington since before Monster Cat was a thing. You know, he was bouncing the idea off of me when I was in my mom's basement because I asked him for Creative Commons or like rights to distribute for my music, for my YouTube video, a tidbit of a song that he used. I was like, I need to get explicit legal permission. Oh, wow. So I signed an agreement, all this stuff. So I knew about the dangers. It's just like, here we are still fighting the same fight and we will for another 30 years or whatever.
I mean, it's crazy. Between you and Night Mode and Monster Cat, shout out to Monster Cat. I mean, there's very few labels in the dance music world who are doing it like this. And it kind of blows my mind. Yeah.
I mean, you still have to get a license for Monster Cat to use some of their stuff. And they release a lot of stuff like the Cascade stuff. You can't do it. Of course. Yeah, of course. But like, you're right. I mean, outside of them, you're really just dealing with the copyright free groups. And like, you can't, I mean, there are some labels that are waking up to it. I like the group The Midnight is open to that.
The Midnight,
yeah. Sable Valley, I think, is DMCA free. So, I mean, shout out RL one time, but it's just like, it's basics. It's simple. It's free real estate. Just take it, right? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. It just seems like, you know, as long as we're in this Wild West atmosphere, you might as well just turn on the faucet, man. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Just turn it on. Let us drink. I'm thirsty down here.
We're dying. Oh, man. Someone in my chat just said, yeah, Guitar Hero and Rock Band, too. Like, there's all this history.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Please.
You can't play either.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
So you have the Guitar Hero streamers like playing custom songs that are, or like playing really quiet. And how awful is that? It fucking sucks.
Weird. It's so weird, man. I will say, you probably know this, but for the people who don't, Guitar Hero and Rock Band, old DJ secret was that I don't know if they released them or it leaked, but all the files, all the stems for the songs in Guitar Hero and Rock Band leaked. So like there are folders.
No
I have
way.
some of them where you can like, I have like the stems for like System of a Down and Slayer and
That's
shit.
so nuts.
Dude,
I had no idea.
How crazy. I'll send you a link later. It's crazy.
Yeah. So we, no wonder all these DJ tools use like the same set. No, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Oh man. Yeah. I don't know how it happened. I'm sure there's a crazy story, but
Hey, how does all music get leaked?
yeah, right. It's
Somebody sends something.
Eternal problem, man. Well, what was, for you, what was some of the first DJs and musicians you linked up with out in LA? Because obviously like you and Dylan Francis have done a bunch of stuff together.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
boy.
bunch of people I could list, but how did that
Right.
start?
So when I moved back to LA, I was looking for apartments and I got a DM from a musician that I had liked named Vincent. And he was like, yo, I saw you're in LA. You want to grab ramen? And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, let's grab ramen. So we met up, ate ramen, like hit it off, watched the Women's World Cup game. And I was like, this guy's dope. First new friend in LA. And I haven't even moved here, right? I have friends in LA, but I wasn't super close with them. And so we started hanging out. Rob was dating a girl named Cheney at the time, Cray.
Yeah, she's been on this podcast. Shout out to Cray.
Yeah, shout out Cray one time. She's my best friend.
Yeah.
We hung out a ton. I mean, we just hung out a ton. And so I met them. I met their management, Vital Management. So I met a bunch of people through there. And then straight up, I went to every single show that I could. Like everyone. Paid for a ticket. Brownies and Lemonade, just went. I loved music. I wanted to be involved. I just wanted to go out and see it. I went alone. I went with friends. It didn't matter. Vincent was playing Brownies one night. I'd been showing up there for like months. And so like, you have a little bit of clout. I'm verified. So I'm tagging Brownies and Lemonade in Instagram photo. Like, I know you see me, man.
Yeah.
So they knew of me, but when they met me through Robin Cheney, met Chad, met that whole group and Kush and Fernet. And it was like, okay, we're friends now. So it was a lot of just meeting up with people. And now, great friends with Kazo, great friends with Dylan. Zed's a good guy. It's not like I made any intention or effort to do so. It's just you end up meeting people. So if you want to meet people in the industry, just become friends with a DJ. Easy. And then you'll get to know all the DJs.
Well, absolutely. But what you're talking about, I think we could apply this to anything, not just DJing, not just streaming, not just gaming, but kind of any way you want. If there's someone you want to build a relationship with, or if there's a scene you wish you were a part of, right? That's like the secret that's not actually a secret. It's just like if you treat people like people and just, hang out with them. Like,
wow.
Yeah. What?
Like, don't put anybody on a pedestal. It's not that I'm not a fan of Dylan or Kazo or Vincent or Cray, right? Like, I love their music. I do. It's just that I maybe had a different perspective because I know the type of people when I interact with them that I'm like, all right, you're being a little too fanny. Like, that's cool, but you're on this distance because like, you're not like, this isn't a friendship kind of thing. You put a wall up between yourself. So I know that that's not something I like. So of course I'm never going to do it to anybody else. I think there's maybe 3 photos of me and Dylan not taken by press, right? Because I'm not ever hanging out with them. I'm like, you want to get a photo? Like, we good? Candid? That's just not a thing that anybody cares to do. So it's just, don't suck and just be open to meeting people.
I like that your advice for artists is don't make bad music. Your advice for people is don't suck.
Right. My advice for streaming is don't even try. So we'll just hit the gamut here.
Were you going to shows like earlier on in life?
Yeah, I got a good story. So Dub Nation is damn, what's their name? I don't know. Dub Nation was the name of a night for Steez promo. That's what it was in Towson, Maryland.
Right.
It was all ages show at the Wrecker, a skeevy like 80 cap, 100 cap bar, maybe 150. And tickets were like $15. So I started going because I realized I could hear some of the songs that just came out, but like live. And my mom would drive me there and pick me up because it was close, 20 minutes away. I was like, let's go.
There we go.
So I convinced a bunch of my friends to go. And there's some photos of like young me in the crowd. because the resident DJ there was Smash Gordon, Steve Gordon, who, obviously now formerly UTA or whatever, like incredibly large dude. So I went to a show, convinced a lot of my school to go. This was like junior, senior year of high school. And they all show up. We all show up at doors because we're idiots and we don't know any better. And everybody left because like somebody was playing like ambient, like actual dubstep, like very chill. And they're like, this sucks. Or Steve gets on, throws like Blue Skies from Flux on, and I'm like, right. And then at the end of his set, he's throwing out physical CDs in CD cases. Smash Your Fucking Face in Volume 3, and he hits me in the face with it. Like I was like, this is ironic. So I listened to that CD a bunch because it was great, that mix. But I was going to shows by myself too, for like Skrillex and Nina Las Vegas and Reed Speed. Nobody wanted to go see Reed Speed with me.
Reed Speed that was so fucking dope. Such
so
an
legendary
DJ. Yeah. It's funny, man. People forget about Steve Gordon too. And I mean, for anybody watching right now or listening to this later, he's one of the biggest booking agents in dance music at this point. But he started off as a grimy DJ. I mean,
and I told him this. I told him this story in the back of a Coachella bus going to Hayden or Keizo's Coachella performance a couple years ago. I'm fucking wasted. We're going to Coachella, right? It's like dark, or we're coming back from Coachella. Like everybody's tired, and I was like, "Hey, Steve," and and he was like, "What?" And I tell him the story, and he's like, okay. Like that's how he responded. And then Hayden's just like, shut up. And I was like, okay, I just thought I needed to get it off my chest. I had to tell him.
That's so funny, dude.
But like now Steve's, we're chill. I talk to him every now and then.
No, Steve's great, man. Well, here's a question for you. I asked this to a lot of different DJs and producers, and it's become kind of one of my favorite questions to ask anybody recently. Do you know what you're doing? Do you feel like you know what you're doing? Because I think anybody, you get to a certain point, there's definitely aspiring streamers who look at you and they're like, man, he's got it figured out.
He's got it going on. Yeah. Does anyone really know what they're doing? I have a good idea of what I'm doing in life, right? But to say that I have an idea of like what is the best path to do anything, no, I'm just kind of fumbling around in the darkness. And most of the things that I have ended up doing, for better or for worse, I have fallen ass backwards into. Like, I do believe that luck plays a huge part in everything.
Yeah.
But I believe that everyone is given opportunities to some extent. And what matters is what you do with that chance of luck. If you're in the same room with Diplo, like, what are you going to do with that lucky chance? Are you going to walk up and give him a USB? Or are you going to not say anything but make friendly talk with him? Like, what's your play here? It doesn't matter. Like, you shouldn't spend all night thinking about that. But there's going to be multiple instances like that in your life. Me making this label was a similar instance. Dan, my co-partner, reached out to me to do a Disciple compilation. He was just like, I think this could be a cool idea. And I was like, I hate dubstep. But like, whatever, like, let's try it. Cause I've always wanted to do something like this. We did it. It did so well that he offered the idea to run the label with me. I can't run a label. Yeah. I didn't know shit about music or like legalities until now. So, and I'm still learning. So
wait, what was the deal with the compilation? Was it you curating again?
Yeah, I got 7 or 8 new songs and 7 or 8 re-releases of old songs. I chose pretty much no dubstep, but either way, they released it. And Dan, it was the most successful album release Disciples ever had.
Oh, wow.
Which is dope, but also kind of like terrifying because now there's this onus that what if this was a fluke? We're starting a label around the idea that we can manage to curate something like this. It worked out. All right, I think it's working out. I don't know. Talk to me in 10 years, but I'm pretty sure it's working out right now. I think we got a good thing going.
Well, I mean, so this is the question then. Like, if you say, I don't have it all figured out for what you're doing personally, what are you thinking for the label? I'm sure you've got ideas percolating. I'm sure you've got plans you're working on. I mean, and this is not like, what do you got coming up next? But, where do you see the label going?
When's your next album? This is when's the next album dropping, bro?
Yeah, no, not that, never that. But no, I mean, where do you see the label going? What are some goals, some ideas you'd like to hit?
For the whole, this is my idea of music that I think is good. We have some straight pop, like electro pop tracks. We have some hard style and like dark techno. Like, it is whatever I feel like, and yep. I hope you guys like it. And if you don't, sorry, but I do hope you like it. And I want to help, share that with people. I would like a big thing for us this year. COVID for everyone sucked, but festivals coming back. I want my damn art car at EDC. Like we work underneath Insomniac. We're independent, but they do help with distribution and stuff and whatnot. They're great. I want an art car. They gave Monster Cat an art car. I want an art car. Like I want to get more physical. I want to do a night mode show. I want to do it with brownies and lemonade. I want to do more physical stuff and live stream it on Twitch while we do it because I think that's sick. It's a fun way to combine the worlds. And not everyone can fly in from Europe to go watch a sweaty warehouse show with like some of our artists. So that was pretty much the main goal when we started our Twitch stream was how do we do live sets, like real live sets, not recorded and played live, but like we're at the club tonight. What you see is what you get. And we've done a couple tests and stuff, but yeah, I just want more physical stuff. I want to be able to take what we've built and say like, we have a group of people that like our whatever the fuck we're doing. And I want to see you physically, drink a normal amount, a safe amount, and enjoy yourself at our event. That's what I want.
I like that, man. I mean, throwing events, that's a whole nother dimension to it too.
No. Yeah. No, I don't want to throw the event. That's why I was like, I'll give it to Brownies and Lemonade and they will throw the event. And then I will show up all giddy. Like I got guest list spots to give out now. I can't wait to turn people down. It's going to be exciting.
But yeah, I love all of that, man. And I mean, I said this before, but I'll say it again. I think the curation on the label has been fantastic.
Thank you.
And just not only the range of sounds, but just I mean, you're working with a lot of friends of mine, with a lot of artists I really love. What was there an early one? Like you had Feed Me kind of early, right?
Feed Me was supposed to be our launch song. I am such a big Feed Me fan. I went to see him in Boston with Kill the Noise. I drugged my friend. I took my friends to to that show and showed them. I was like, guys, this is sick. It was the Teeth tour. So to have Feed Me, I took a shot in the dark, right? To have his team come back and be like, yeah, we're down with this. I shit myself, man. It's been a long time since I felt anything that cool. And our first track, we had some issues with scheduling, but unlike Pluto, Feed Me, Hero was our fourth release, I think. And I'm friends with Luke. And so that was like the first time I was working with a person I knew. And ever since, it's just been a combination of people that have 0 followers, who we've actually released like the first song with them, to like One True God, who's blown up from like 100,000 monthly listeners to like 700,000. And just so dope. Like seeing artists grow, especially underneath us. Moore Kismet's first million stream song was You Should Run with Pauline Her. And then that one got into Fortnite. All that is so sick.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you've, not to pump the very podcast that you're on right now, but, a lot of these artists were on this podcast as well. And there's something going on, man, where I think a lot of people's brains are opening up to the idea that you can listen to a bunch of different styles and sounds. The dance music scene for so long has been so sceney, if you know what I mean. It's like, if you listen to this, you can't listen to that. If, no mixing of the things, people stay at one stage of the festival the whole night. And I really hope, I don't know if this is going to happen because I'm a skeptical person, but I really hope like coming out of the pandemic, everybody's watching live streams, getting a little weird, opening up. And I think the label Night Mode is part of this, where it's just like, yeah, we can open this up a little, guys. We can listen to a lot of shit.
Well, I mean, how am I supposed to compete if I wanted to do, I love house music and I love techno. I love both of them to death. But I grew up, I went all my shows here, trap. Oh my God, old trap music is the tits. And so I like psytrance sometimes, right? And I love D&B. So there's so much that I love. It's hard for me to understand if you don't love more than one genre. And I get it, but I still want to, like somebody who only eats chicken tenders, like I still want you to try like something else here every now and then and see if you like it.
Yeah, it's not healthy to just eat all those chicken tenders.
It's not healthy to stay at the base pod all day. I promise you, there's like, you can go to Neon Garden and not die. You might not like it now, but when you get 5 years older, you probably will. I mean, I agree. It's always going to be cliquey. You're always going to have this identity. People base their identities or get fond of the community. Look at Illenium selling out 60,000 seats.
Oh my God.
That is
crazy.
Like those people love Illenium, and that's dope. And some of them do like other music, but that's cool. You're always going to have that core community. It's just push your minds a little bit further and just like try things you're not comfortable with, because I take people to the hardstyle stage at EDC Wasteland because there's no place more happy. Nobody's there that doesn't want to be there, except for the friend that I brought, right? And they're like, I can't do this. And I'm like, you give me 5 minutes. And then they'll see them, left, right. I'm like, huh? And they're like, okay, I get it. It's pretty cool. My ears hurt though. And I'm like, all right, we can go. But I just want to share that, right? There's fun out there.
I mean, let's run down. You may not have a story for all these artists, but just because I love some of these people, let me just throw a couple artists at you and see if anything comes to mind. Recently, one of my very close friend, you put out a record from Jawns, who I love.
Jawns. So I got to hang out with him at the Brownie show, the D&B Brownie show. Jawns, formerly of Gent and Jawns, I was listening to them ages ago, right? So once they stopped making music under that, Jawns came back with this really dope modular track. I think it was an EP on Sable, House of God and Psycho. Yeah. And I'm such a slut for acid. I am oh man. So I heard it and I was like, oh my God, he's actually like making good modular or like hard driving music that I could see people latching onto. And so Jawns he's actually being managed under Cardinal with some of my friends. They reached out, and when they sent it, out loud I said, "Oh fuck yeah!" And I sent in an email. But the funny thing was, because it's to my friend, I was like, yo, I'm a huge simp for Jawns. The autocorrect in Google for simp said fan. And I was like, not in this email, not in this email.
So funny. Yeah. Well, and that track is great too. I mean, Jawns, he goes crazy with the rack mounted, the analog gear, his whole set. Have you seen his studio setup?
I've of course. And that's why I was like, oh, he's in it. Like this is some good. He's not lying to anyone.
Yeah, no, he's not fucking around. Another guy like that, who I will throw at you now, is Hellbound.
So Hellbound, got into him because he was making, this is a great story, got into him because he was making some really cool sound design trap music under Tassion, which was, his project. And so, I mean, he was making some heavy shit. I think he even had a track in Halloween mixtape or whatever. So the funny thing was Cheney, Cray, and myself have one day, we're drunk on stream, and Cheney was just like, I like pesto. I think I'm a pesto boy. Are you a pesto boy? I'm like, fuck yeah, I like pesto. I'm a pesto boy. For whatever reason, our chats ran with it. Pesto boys is our like friendship duo, but I mean, and trio. Vincent was in it. Everyone's a pesto boy. Fast forward like a year, and somebody is like, yo, I can't believe they're ripping Pesto Boys from Tassion. And I click on, I'm like, who? Like, I know Tassion of Tassion. I click on it, and his fucking bio said like lover of pesto, or like pesto team or something like that. And I was like, uh-oh. So I didn't change anything, but
that's so good.
And then he put out this EP with Noise and another track, and I really loved the way that Noise kind of felt. And so he was one of the first artists that I reached out to for our initial like season of releases. And of course, like still to yesterday, love the guy.
Yeah, he's great. Wasn't he just playing at Space Yacht? Was that the show
yesterday?
Yeah. Man, shout out to Hellbound. I haven't talked to him in a while. I love that guy. How about another? I feel like there's probably a story here. Eliminate.
Yeah, Nate. So Nate's managed. Dan is Daniel's my co-founder. He part owner of Disciple, manages Eliminate, manages Knock 2, as well as a couple other people. So that, like, Nate's a funny guy. He's another person that is just doing streaming correctly.
Yeah, he was made for it, man. It's crazy. And
he's so good at it. I love his sounds and stuff. He made that song on stream, and we slotted it in to like a very tight window last minute. And I remember going to bed the night before it came out, seriously thinking, I've done this to this song and to You Should Run with Moore Kismet. I remember going to bed thinking like, fuck, I hope I didn't make the right call and this isn't too wacky for them. Like I was still trying to, because most of the music up to that point had been pretty, but Nate makes some fun, weird music. Both of those songs have million plus plays. So we did a good job on that, but still I was like, oh man, I hope it works.
Oh man. Yeah, it was so good. And I've loved seeing him become this like streamer personality. Like, I don't even know, he's a multi-hyphenate at this point. Like, I don't even know what category I'd put him in because the music's
He's an
always
entertainer.
Yeah.
He is similar. He is most similar to Dylan Francis, where whatever they're doing is just, and Eptic too has been making some funny stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
But they're just entertainers.
Yeah, I think that's right. Well, how about Moore Kismet? Now that you mentioned
Moore Kismet, I met very briefly during their first Brownies and Lemonade performance, and I met their mom like in passing. I was just like, hey, I love your music. Bye. Yeah. Like, how crazy is it? They were 15 at the time. So to have a 15-year-old in a nightclub, hard as it is, but to have them pop off like that and have such an interesting sound, that's great. And then I like the song is with Pauline Her, and it's good. It's everything I love about the earlier SoundCloud experimental days. It sounds like somebody had fun making it.
Yeah.
And it's two very different songs from the first drop to the second. I was like, this is the one. And if you listen to Moore Kismet's music, it's definitely kind of changed throughout their career, but they were making some really hard stuff. So this was the softest song they had ever made, I believe, at the time. And I was just like, I love this song. We have to sign it. We have to make it work. So that one, also just love everything that they do, spreading themselves, their joy.
They're incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite episodes of this podcast from last year was with Moore Kismet. And yeah, no, they're just an incredible talent, incredible person. It's so exciting. I mean, first of all, it's just fucking frustrating when someone is that good at 15, 16 years old.
You're like, well, I guess my time's up. I've got to go.
I'll get out of here now. But no, it's so inspiring because like you said, the music is changing so quickly and you can see them evolving and they're growing up, right? And I don't know, there's something exciting about that energy because I remember when I was 15, 16, how much music meant to me. In a way that now it doesn't because we're old and jaded, you know?
Right. Yeah. That it's innocent almost. And that was very alluring to me and very, I'm impressed by their ability to handle how much they're going through at like career wise too, just in general at a young age. Cause I was a mess when I was 16, and they're taking 2 a.m. shows like on weekdays. Oh my God. I don't know how they do it, but you're right. Captures that sort of, there's only fun involved here.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Well, one more artist, and then we'll kind of start wrapping it up here. But I have to mention it just because I love this man. Is Link.
I saw him last night. I burnt his mouth with pizza.
Great.
It was his own fault. Yeah. So he's great. I actually was a fan of Lax, which was his other artist for a while. He made the loudest effing music I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, people joke about the loudness war. You already lost ages ago. It's so loud.
Oh, yeah. No, and I mean, that's a real thing. Like, the loudness wars, people joke about, but, you know, there are producers who stay up at night trying to figure out how can I get it 0.01 decibels louder than the next guy. And yeah, Lax has been doing that. Link has been doing that forever.
Right. And so they were another situation like Hellbound where they only had 2 songs out. And I was like, I love this kind of speed house feeling. And I was like, okay, we've got to jump in on it and make it work. I think it was at the same time that we were talking to Alert. And I was just on this, it was like energy music, right? Like music that really I was craving at the time. And Link once again has been making some really fun music, really fun up tempo.
So, you know, running the label so far, what has surprised you about running a label? What have you learned so far that you didn't know before?
I mean, let's leave all the boring stuff of like how to actually run the label, right? Because that's self-explanatory.
What file formats do you send to the distributor?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, yeah. I am not surprised, but I'm once again reminded of how nepotism runs rampant in the music industry. Oh, yeah. And it is disheartening to know that there are some things that get preferential treatment because of, you know, politics, whatever. shout out Spotify one time. But I mean, Spotify actually, like now that they've shifted to more algorithmic stuff, we get a lot of love from them. Almost every track in Crate Diggers, which is great.
Yeah.
And then additional stuff. But that aside, I've been really, really surprised to find how, not surprised, it's how different every artist is in their creative process, what they're capable of doing. Like like Jawns, I was like, he sent us, that song was a half finished, no second half, like kind of bare bones. And I was like, I fucking love this song. And he goes, all right, give me a week. And I was like, okay. And then he sends that back and I was like, yeah, like cool. And then others, you chase them down and you chase them down. And then this needs to be tweaked and you miss 17 deadlines. Like Parasite, the song almost got pulled the day before it came out because there were so many moving parts with having three incredible and very artistically passionate people working on one track. That thing was like, we were real close. And so like Dan Away is one of my favorite people. I love him to death. He's a good friend of mine. So it's just like a labor of love in that regard. And it's I guess people are different. Who knew? Everybody's different, but it was kind of surprising.
What are the odds?
Yeah. Well, you think that people sit down every day to make music, but that's not the case. Like maybe you just don't make music a couple days. Maybe you sit down for 5 minutes and bang out an entire song. It's a process.
Yeah. It's a whole different world. So let me, as we kind of wrap it up here, man, let me turn it back on you for a second in what you do right now. This is another question I try to ask everybody I talk to. What is the most fun part of what you do right now? What is the most exciting part? What do you look forward to? Like, what keeps you here doing what you're doing?
Man, I love creating stuff, right? I like entertaining people and I like the feedback that I get instantly from doing Twitch. I think like a lot of people, you go through creative droughts and I'm currently definitely in one. I'm trying to find what I want to actively focus on right now.
Wait, what does that mean? Just because I'm ignorant, what does that mean for a streamer to be in a creative drought? Because you're still streaming, right?
I mean, I make YouTube videos too, right? So I mean, of course. Right. So you can get on and turn on the stream and do whatever you want, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be engaging. I mean, there's production quality stuff that you can enhance. Like, what if I need a new intro? I've been doing this thing where I'm making like little 90-second commercial bumpers for when I go to the bathroom every week. Like there's a lot of stuff that I want to do more creative or more interesting. So for just trying to make all of that happen is draining.
Yeah, I can imagine. So it's funny, man, because again, all these parallels between DJs and gamers. And when I had Cheney on the podcast, Cray, she was saying the same thing about, people think you just hop on the stream. People think you just upload a funny video and that's it, right? There's so much that goes into it that people don't realize. Even just making little bumpers while you going to the bathroom. Like that takes mental energy. That takes time out of your day, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that sometimes it's easier than others, but I think every job has a level of stuff you do behind the scenes that nobody sees. And everyone's going to always see streaming as sitting down and playing video games, just like everybody's going to see DJing as hitting play. Like there's nothing you can do unless the person actively wants to find out about it to convince them otherwise. That's cool. Like, very comfortable at this moment in time with the way anybody would see what I'm doing. It doesn't bother me. I'm too old to be bothered. I've been doing this too long. I'm an old man. Like, get off my lawn, my content lawn. Get off
my lawn. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, what are, we talk about goals for the label. What are goals for yourself and what you're doing, whether it's personal goals, career goals, anything you want to talk about?
I just bought this place, so I'm 30 years in debt. So I'd like to figure out how to speed that up.
Congrats on the debt. Congrats on the debt.
Thank you. Yeah, I love it. But I personally would like to continue to find a way to enjoy myself doing this because I have no desire to stop. This is a part of my life, and it has been for almost half my life. I just want to continue to find ways to maybe innovate and push what I think is good content out there. And then also, I just want to be able to have fun and whatever I'm doing. So that's easier said than done though.
Yeah. Well, of course it is, man. I think that's the theme of this whole conversation is you can sum it up into easy rules like have fun, don't suck, etc. But, sometimes it's a little more complicated.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, all right, man. I'm going to ask you the last question. This is the same question I ask at the end of each one of these episodes. It's kind of just a simple first thing that pops into your head kind of question. Just looking for a time in your life, a moment, a memory when in a single moment, music really had a deep impact on you, really affected you deeply. And that's meant to be super broad. There's no wrong answer.
I remember being in, oh man. All right. I remember going to dinner with, I'm going to leave everybody's names out of this because it doesn't really matter. I remember getting a text from somebody who I knew was an artist and they knew me and we were friends, but like we never really talked that much. It was like, yo, I'm heading out of town tomorrow. You want to grab dinner with me and these guys? And I was like, oh yeah, like of course I would. And I got there and I got to meet like somebody who was like in the management side of things, another artist and a couple other people, like a guy from publishing. And I remember sitting there in a fucking umami burger being like, this is what you wanted. Like you unironically got asked to come spend time in the music industry and like the actual industry, not just like, right. There's people that are in the industry and then there's people that do the shit and make the industry what it is. And I was like, I felt accepted and that I was on the right path and like the things that I'd wanted to do were happening finally. And that was like 4 years ago. So that was probably like the moment where I was like, oh, okay, we're doing it. We're in there.
Yep. I mean, that just makes me think about community, man. Like it makes me think about you moving to LA with a little group of friends, gamers trying to make it at the start, right? Like at the end of the day, for me, that's where it comes back to with any of this shit is community and finding the acceptance of peers and people doing the cool shit that you're also excited about the same way you like to, burn CDs for people and just get excited about it, finding the people who are excited about it in the same way. To me, man, that's the most beautiful shit. I think that's why any of us do what we do.
Yeah, you summed it up really well. Community is important, and I love being a part of as many as possible. And whichever ones are the most fun, I'll be there.
Yeah, man. Fun is the watchword for this entire podcast, I think. Man.
Right.
Well, this has been fantastic, dude. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I know we talked about it a while ago, but glad we got everything sorted. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I love seeing all the great names and faces that you have on here.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we're not slowing down either. I feel similarly to you in that like I don't know where it's going, but it's going to keep going somewhere.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'll be looking forward to it. I'm sure we'll both be here for a while.
Oh, you know it, baby. And yeah, looking forward to what you do with the label as well.
Thank you. I'll try and impress you. We've got some good stuff cooking in the fall.
Yeah, I'm stoked. Definitely send me that.
Yeah, I'll shoot you a promo.
All right, man. Great to talk to you, dude. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Take care. Peace.
Peace.